Ladies and gentlemen, it is a lovely Sunday day, day of rest. And I've been doing plenty of that. It is quite a lovely day. I can't see now. The sun is shining. The breeze is at a minimum, thankfully. The car driving down the road. Don't really have a whole lot to say today. There's not really a whole lot going on. I'm bored, so I figured I'd do something. What can we do? There's all kinds of things to do. It's all about whether or not you want to do any of the things that there are to do. That is where the challenge comes in. Personal drive and motivation. Just like career paths or anything that you feel like you'd really like to do. Because there are so many things that one can do in the world. It's all a matter about do you think you're up to it or not. It's all about trying things. If you never try anything, you never learn anything, is I guess what I'm trying to get at. Some people are more inclined to do other things than others. What am I inclined to do? I'm inclined to think. I'm inclined to reminisce. I'm inclined to think on a grand scheme of things kind of thing. Not necessarily a very basic level of survival and function. It's like, oh, well, I gotta go get in my car and do my job today. That was never really I did that for a while, and I was pretty good at it, and maybe I should have kept doing that instead of getting into the things that I wound up getting into, such as acid, because it does have different effects on people, and if I was inclined to think a certain way, then that was going to completely strengthen that particular notion in my mind. And so, if you wound up finding that there's certain notions in your mind that aren't necessarily good, then it'll make them harder to deal with, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Make it harder to eradicate ideas out of your brain. And as of right now, I have not come to the conclusion that it's impossible. But there is a certain possibility that it is impossible. They do say that it will leave your mind after a certain period of time and it won't be a big deal anymore, but still, they haven't really gone anywhere yet. So when it comes down to the fact that you realize or think you realize certain things about the way the world is, it becomes all the more important for you to make good decisions for those who are not necessarily aware of such possibilities, unless I'm just delusional. But a delusional human being is still a human being capable of actions with consequences and stuff of that nature. And it's all about protecting the world from those kind of thoughts, even though the world is going to have those thoughts anyway. But you don't necessarily need to provoke them or feed the fire, so to speak, which is, I've fed my own fire probably far too often. which is not a good thing at all. But because I had a proclivity to do stuff like that, it was kind of a natural thing for me to do. That doesn't mean there's no hope left. It just means that it's a lot harder for me now. And if living life is still easy for you, then by all means, live life easy. I always figured I had to make things harder for myself than they actually were, because I felt that that was the best way to learn things. Right? Well, what have I learned? Sometimes it's better to just do things the easy way. I don't know. This whole internet thingy, this whole internet debacle, feel I removed myself from my position of, shall I say, popularity amongst the burgeoning art scene in Stanton. And now I'm kind of just out here wandering around the fields all by myself. But to a certain degree, I feel as though that for every burgeoning arts and crafts scene, there's some guy who's just kind of out there on the edge as well. The edge of the edge, if you will. It's still somewhat apart, but not necessarily involved in the day-to-day activities, so to speak.
The recluse. I've always been kind of a reclusive sort of person. I figured it's better to feel lonely when you're actually alone than it is to be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. People that you surround yourself with just so that you don't feel like you're a failure. That's not judging anybody harshly, other than my own fault for getting into the situation where I would think that sort of thing about anybody, so that's where I would be the bad person. But once I realized that may have been the case, I realized that I had to do something about it. But now...
alone. Me and Bella here. Hey Bella, kitty 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 kitty, kitty 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 kitty. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah. Meow.
So anyway,
I guess it's a long time ago I had the thought about you can go down in 1 or 2 books. You can go down in the Family Genealogical Library or well, you're pretty much going to go down in that book regardless. Then there is the possibility that you could wind up making it into the history books. And well, at one point I figured I wanted to make it into the history books, you know. I wanted to be someone that people remembered years and years later. Well, I realized that maybe that's not such a good idea either. Maybe it's just better to be remembered only by your family and not remembered by the historians of the world. But then people talk about destiny and stuff. What if it was your destiny to be in the history books? It's kind of a bizarre concept to grasp when you're still alive. And an impossible concept to grasp when you're dead. Well, I guess that's why you need to go around acting like you're just not going to be in them, so that if you do actually wind up doing something good, then people will remember you anyway. And it was because of no actions of your own. But at the same time, I mean, who'd be talking about Alexander the Great if he was not Alexander the Great? I tell you. No one. That's who. He wouldn't have got anywhere.